Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, we're going to talk all about MJF's new faction in AEW as the Four Horsemen teases finally pay off.
And NXT reveal new women's tag team championships, and they've already changed hands.
Also over in Jacksonville, AEW have just confirmed their first ever women's main event. Good stuff.
And we're getting a 2-night takeover for NXT. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the news.
Okay, let's kick things off with the most newsworthy story from a very newsworthy episode of Dynamite. MJF pulling a swerve on a swerve to close the show. A crazy angle, this. So it was the War Council, it was the Inner Circle, coming to terms with their recent failure, coming to terms with their recent arguments in the main event spot. Everyone was there, apart from Wardlow. There's a whole deal. They're kind of working through their problems. Chris Jericho says, hey, maybe we need to add a new member. MJF says, hey, maybe we need to get rid of an existing member. When Sammy Guevara returns, he's got some footage for Chris Jericho. Chris, shut up and listen. Watch the footage. The footage is from a hidden camera planted by Sammy in the Inner Circle locker room that shows clearly MJF trying to manipulate or tease Santana and Jake Hager against Chris Jericho, saying, let's get him out as leader, let's get me in as the leader. And MJF is like, hey, well, I wanted you to find out another way, but guys, get them. They look like they're going to get them for a while, Santana, Ortiz, and Hager. They approach Jericho and Sammy, but then they turn around Jericho knew all along. He said, we've been planning. We knew you were doing this. This is no surprise. We got you, Max. Max is cowering in the corner. He's begging off. He's like, please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. Actually, surprise, Mother Hubbards. The lights go out. They come back on. Who's there? Tully Blanchard, FTR, Wardlow, Sean Spears. They've all got weapons. Chaos ensues. Sammy's face gets smashed off a steel chair in the corner. There are broken bottles. Santana and Ortiz get handcuffed. It's a big gangland beatdown, the likes of which the Inner Circle used to be known for. And it concludes with Jericho being powerbombed off the stage, by Wardlow. So there we go. Big development. MJF is the leader of a new heel faction. They're not called the Four Horsemen because one, there's 6 of them, and 2, they haven't named it that, but this is a clear payoff. From what, like a year of teases? Yeah. There's so much stuff. It goes all the way back to MJF and Sean Spears gambling at ringside at the start of the global health crisis. But it's a clear payoff of all that. We've got the new heel faction. The Inner Circle appear to be baby faces, which is very interesting indeed. They've been heels for the duration of their run in AEW. But it's a major game-changing story. Completely reshifts the stable dynamic in AEW. Take it away, Chief.
Just imagine at the end of 2019 saying, you know that cult and Chris Jericho's gaggle of bastards? Yeah, in 2021 they're both going to be babyface. I adored, obviously, this ending to AEW Dynamite. Everyone else is out here playing checkers. My boy MJF is out here playing 4D sodding chess. Like we were talking about before we started recording, I thought the swerve of Jericho knowing all about it was really good, and then it was less a hat on a hat and more a cake on a cake in terms of the fact that I just loved the doubling down of it all, and the fact that people were sat there going, oh, in the Four Horsemen, maybe we're going to have Sean Spears, maybe we're going to have MJF, and they just went, why not both? And Wardlow. It's just like, oh, I love it. I'm so excited to see what direction they go in here. And I know we haven't got a lot of time to talk about it, but a quick nod, and I know you wanted to pay some tribute to it as well. So those promos, salvaging the mess that was the exploding barbed wire death match. I mean, we had no doubt Eddie Kingston was going to nail it, but credit where it's due to Moxley and to Don Callis as well, who did a great job, I thought, last night.
Yeah, could not have done a better job between the lot of them. I thought it was really well handled. You know, no explanation for all of this, for this botch, was ever going to satisfy everyone, and there will be people who are like, this is a bit lame. But personally, and wrestling is subjective like all other forms of art, and you're welcome to disagree. We welcome the conversation. Personally, though, I thought they handled it really well. Kingston is just the best talker. He's so believable and so rugged and so raw. And yeah, Kenny and Dawn were gloriously obnoxious. 69 me, Dawn! It was really good stuff, I thought. And hats off to them. I don't have a hat nearby. Actually, I do have a hat nearby. Doesn't really fit my massive head, but there we go. Hats off to you. That was really rubbish. Let's move on.
I just love that shot of Mox and Kingston just drinking spirits next to a fire. I can just picture myself joining in with a nice pina colada. I'd have fit right in. Right, let's move on and talk about NXT, which I really enjoyed as well this week. 3 title matches. I know they promised 2, but they also promised 2 huge announcements. One of them was the unveiling of women's tag team championships. This is off the back of all the bollocks shenanigans last week with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler fighting Gonzalez and Kai, and then screwing them effectively out of the titles courtesy of Postman Pearce. Enough of all that. NXT have got their own women's championships now. Kai and Gonzalez were the first champions. They're not anymore. Already, Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart are your new NXT women's tag team champions. They basically got handed the belts, Kai and Gonzalez, and then Moon and Blackheart went, let's have a match later. They had a match. And, well, yeah, Shotzi Blackheart pinned Dakota Kai. Moon and Shotzi are your new tag team champions. In the other 2 title matches, spoilers, there you go, 2 retentions. Io Shirai retaining against Toni Storm, and Finn Balor retaining in a brilliant main event against Adam Cole. Adam Cole seemingly off in a new direction now with Kyle O'Reilly, who returned, and TikTok time may well soon be up for Finn Balor as Karrion Kross confronted him as the show went off the air. But yeah, new tag team titles. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I enjoyed what they did with them last night, but I've always felt that you could have just had the women's tag team titles that are on Raw and SmackDown floating on these shows. What do you reckon?
I think the booking of this whole thing is really ass backwards. Like, the whole deal from start to finish. It's like, why are you painting the heels as the sympathetic party in all of this? They were the ones who were screwed by Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and Adam Pearce and that whole deal last week. Why would you put sympathy on the heels? And then the baby faces interrupt the big moment and end up with the belts at the end of the night. Would it not have been a lot more effective if the baby faces had won the tournament, if they'd fought the heels, Jax and Baszler, last week and been screwed out of it? Sympathy for the baby faces. This week they get awarded the titles and then they are cruelly taken away from them by those dastardly heels on the same night. I think, I don't think NXT needs women's tag team titles. I spoke about this yesterday, but I think the whole booking is just the wrong way around. But hey, looking on the bright side of this, there are a lot of good women's tag teams in NXT at the moment, and I think that we have the prospect for some really cool matches going forward. I just wish this was a little bit cleaner in how they put it together.
I think in a way it's probably wanting them to keep Raquel Gonzalez looking strong. That may be one of the reasons behind it. Regardless, new women's tag team champions, new women's tag team championships, and we're getting Raquel Gonzalez versus Io Shirai, perhaps at an event I'm going to tell you about in a few minutes' time.
Oh, brother, that'll be a sick match. And speaking of sick matches, AEW have just announced their first ever women's main event. So this was teased by Tony Khan in his post-Revolution media scrum. He was like, I think you'll be seeing a women's main event very, very soon. Wink, wink, wink. We got it last night. So it's Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker. It's presumably the blow-off match in their feud. It's going down next week. What's the name of this crazy show? This St. Patrick's Day Slam. There we go. That's the name of it.
Do the accent.
No, I am not doing accents. That's your deal, pal. But they're going to have this lights out unsanctioned match. It's a product of this week's Dynamite where they had the 6-woman tag, Thunder Rosa's team against Britt Baker's team. Thunder Rosa's team won. Rosa got stuck in the lockjaw and hit by a crutch afterwards. So we're getting this match, a lights out unsanctioned match. It's one of AEW's signature matches, really, but they haven't overdone them. It has to be a main event match because when this gimmick came to life in Florida in like the 60s, the whole deal was we're not sanctioning this, it's going on at the end of the show, and to symbolize that we're putting the lights off. That's why it was called a lights out match. They literally had the lights out. So this will be fun. The previous matches have been really cool and it's earned as well. AEW's women's division has improved in 2021. You're welcome to not like what they're doing, but I think it would be a silly take to look at it and go, hey, look, they haven't made steps forward. They
Yeah.
clearly have. And it's been shown in the ratings in recent weeks. The women's matches have shown increases in viewership in the quarter-hour numbers. So it's working. Whatever they're doing is working. It's paying off. Britt is the perfect person. Thunder Rosa is the perfect person. This is a really good rivalry. Thumbs up across the board, man.
Yeah, I can't think of many other people who deserve a main event on Dynamite more than these two. I think they're going to smash it out of the park. I think it's a great concept for a match as well. And we haven't got a lot of time to talk about it right now, but I'm sure we will in future. I think it's just sensational that they're doing this and answering their critics with this. And like you say, going down on St. Paddy's Day Slam! Get yourself a Guinness and draw a shamrock in it. Apologies to all of our Irish viewers. I couldn't help myself. Right, let's conclude with NXT and clear your diary the week of WrestleMania. First world problems here at WhatCulture. But we are getting a 2-night takeover, as was rumoured. It's going to go down on the Wednesday and the Thursday, the 7th and the 8th of April, ahead of WrestleMania. It's going to be called NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. I am adamant that is going to be a great show. And yes, it was announced last night by William Regal. First show is going to take place on the USA Network, possibly the last show for NXT on a Wednesday night, rumoured to be, of course, moving to Tuesday nights following WrestleMania. The second show on Peacock and available as normal on the WWE Network for everyone else on the Thursday night. Great stuff. I don't know what they're all going to hoy on that show to fill it, but I'm going to have a damn good time watching it regardless, Andy.
Can't wait, man. I legitimately can't wait for WrestleMania week. There's so much going on, not just in WWE, but in the indie shows that are going on around the local area in Tampa. Hope they do it safely this time. GCW, you cheeky scamps in Indianapolis. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to everything that's going down, including this 2-night takeover. I'm sure we'll get 2 really sick main events, if nothing else.
Yeah, exactly. Can't wait for it now. And things slowly whisper it heading back to normal. Stay safe, wear a mask, all that bollocks. Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions. At WhatCulture WWE, of course, we want to get in touch with us. Eddie Zamhari starts us off. Eddie asks, since Molly Holly, congratulations to her, by the way, is the first inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame 2021, who else do you want a WWE to induct into the Hall of Fame? Eddie's picks Shad Gaspard, All Crime Time, Vader,
Definitely.
and Michelle McCool.
Yeah, 100%. You got to do something with Shad, right? It would really suck if they didn't, I think. Man, there are so many people who I'd love to see in the Hall of Fame. People like Lex Luger, who, aren't going to get in for political reasons and all this stuff. It would just be really sick to see them actually honoured. But I'm going to go for a banter answer. My man Gangrel, why is he not in there yet? Come on. Throw him in. You've got a bunch of other, really sentimental mid-carders in there. Get the Vampire God in the Hall of Fame, or I am going to burn it down. It doesn't exist, so I can't burn it down. That was a terrible threat, but you get my point.
He's going to hack it. He's going to hack online. You aren't going to hear any other names out of me other than Shad. You could put him in as part of Crime Time. Thought that'd be nice as well to honour someone like JTG, who would get a moment to talk about his former friend. I don't really know how it works with the Warrior Award, so I don't really want to speculate about giving that to Shad. But yeah, he deserves so much recognition, and he was one of the hardest things to report on, unquestionably, for us here at WhatCulture last year. So he more than deserves a spot in the Hall of Fame. But congratulations to Molly Holly, as we said. I know Phil Chambers very happy about that one. Anima Master gives us our second question of the day, saying, hello, gentlemen. Since the purpose of the Exploding Ring was to write Moxley off for a while, and of course it didn't happen, my question is, how do you write him off TV without attempting to repeat something as brutal as the Exploding Ring? Buried alive, maybe?
I don't think they'll go for a buried alive match. Honestly, I think they might do the Exploding Ring again. I think the Madmen might try it again. You saw in Moxley's promo last night, He gave a little wink at the end. He said, hey, if you're going to have a weapon, you got to use it. That might be it. If it's not that, it's just going to be something brutal with barbed wire and blood and guts and stuff. It's not going to be blood and guts. That's going to be the Inner Circle versus MJF's guys. I don't really have a perfect answer for this because the perfect answer has slipped away from us now. But I think it'll be something nasty, brutal, bloody, and violent. You came up with a really good one when we were speaking before the call, please elaborate. I
think this is going to be the first episode of the other show that they're going to do, not Dark Elevation, not Dark, the other TV show. This is going to be, they put a big match on to launch their other TV show, and it's going to be one of those big stunt rockets they have when they fire stuntmen into a net 100 miles away or whatever it is. It's going to be no net though. It's going to be the first episode of AEW Fuse. Tony, why haven't you taken my idea yet? It's such a good name for the partner show to go with Dynamite, and the whole show there will be a picture-in-picture of the fuse that's burning down to the rocket. Eventually Moxley gets shoved in there and gets fired back to his home planet, as you suggested, Andy.
Poochie.
Exactly. Right, final question today comes from a birthday boy, Andy Murray. Birthday boy Tom Wells. Tom, happy 27th birthday. Thank you, as always, for sending us a question. Tom says, it's my 27th birthday today, so I get to ask a birthday question. Indeed you do, Tom. Simple one. What is the piss funniest thing you've ever seen in wrestling? For me, it's Brock Lesnar and R-Truth with the declare, undeclare Royal Rumble moment.
Oh man, basically every infamous moment that happened in WCW between like 1990 and 2001. But you know, my all-time favorite, and I always go back to this, my all-time favorite hilarious wrestling moment, and it cracks me up every single time, is the Yeti. Sorry. The Yeti! Oh. Thank you, Tony Schiavone. The whole deal, the big walking out like a mummy, and then him and Paul White dry humping Hulk Hogan, and this happening on the same show that Paul White got murdered on his debut night by Hulk Hogan throwing him off the roof after a monster truck sumo match. It's perfect. It's flawless. Although the Shockmaster is up there as well, for sure.
How do you follow that? Hulk Hogan, we coming for you. No, I'd probably for, if I'm not allowed to pick us doing Michael Cole doing Geordie accents from last week's news, I'll probably either go for the pronunciation egg from when they veiled the gobbledygook, which always makes me laugh. But I have to go. It's very, within my wheelhouse, but I have to go for Titus World Slide, particularly because I didn't watch it live. I've told this story many times. I was away on a stag do in Wales, I think, and I had no signal. And about 2 days after the event, I'd completely, fallen off the grid. I drive back into civilization. Apologies to anyone in Wales. Drive back into civilization.
Sorry, Jules.
Get signal on my phone, and it obviously exploded. And the thing is, it had been so hyped up that when I sat down to watch it, I thought this is never going to live up to it. And it did, and it always does. I love you, Titus O'Neil. But it's just, the fact that Cole and Graves, I think it is, just can't control themselves, and it's not one of their, we've been told to laugh in our ear here. It's genuinely just the most insane moment I can think of in recent memory in WWE. So yeah, always makes me laugh.
I've got another one I want to shout out, even though we're going into like 20-minute territory here. Gene Okerlund's interview with David Schultz. I'm not going to quote it because I think it's a lot funnier if you just watch it, but if you've never seen it before, it's very, very of its time, but it's just this ridiculous thing. And the funniest thing about all of it is Gene Okerlund's reaction to it. Look it up. It's David Schultz is a very cancelled man, but this is something else for sure. Final quick one. Any Kings of the North promo? Me and Andy bloody love those. We haven't got time. But check out check out Andy's Twitter, because there's some spectacular ones in there, particularly targeting someone like Shawn Samuels or Tyler Bate, or bait your bollocks off. Great stuff. But anyway, let's conclude with today's Ad Finally. And just a lovely nod again to Molly Holly, this time coming from Bailey, who tweeted overnight. I met Molly in my first year of training, went up to a table at a convention. I told her I was training and dreamt of being dreamt of being in WWE someday. As I started to nervously walk away, she stopped me and handed me one of her DVDs she was selling. She believed. Just one of many amazing stories about Molly Holly. And look at where Bailey is today. Incredible story, that, Andy. She's doing all right, isn't she? She's doing all right.
Maybe Molly Holly's going to be a guest on Ding Dong Hello. Oh my God, let that happen, please. Come on. We got like 5 weeks before WrestleMania. This could definitely happen. Right, let us know your thoughts on that and all today's news stories in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. Myself and the Dadley Boys reviewing the Wednesday Night War a little bit later on today. Plus, you can let us know your thoughts and Twitter questions on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. While it's there, follow both of us. You can follow Andy Murray at Andy H. Murray. The H stands for, hey man, Eddie did it. He did it. He didn't get these scars playing video games, did he? You can follow me on Twitter at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. Well, I'll say finally, make sure you check in for the news tomorrow. Something big. Something big. That is all I'll say for now. But for now, my thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for joining us. And we will see you soon.